Hey guys, so we're going to do a quick valve check on the 350. It probably doesn't need it yet, but it's one of those jobs that it's good to get done while you can, and that's not riding, so we'll do it. Now it's got 85 hours on it, 2,500 K, so pretty confident that it's not going to need the valves adjusted. It starts fine when it's cold, and obviously it doesn't have any hours on it, so we'll see how we go. I'm going to be holding the camera today, and that's going to be swinging the tools, so we'll see how we go. So don't forget to subscribe, and
let's get started.
Alright, what we're going to do first is take off the seat, the tank, and we'll get the pressure washer out and just give it a good clean around the top of the frame here so that no shit drops into the top of the engine when we've got the valve cover off. Always put the little plugs into your fuel line so you don't get any shit in there. So just going to check and clean the little inline fuel filter while we're at it. So you can see all the dirt and stuff up in the frame there and on the coil and whatnot. So we'll take it out and give it a bit of a squirt and just clean it all up. If you had an air compressor, you'd obviously use that to dry it off a bit, but we don't, so we're just going to use a towel and let it drip dry for a while. It's going to need the bike's due for an oil change anyway, so we'll be doing that after we've checked the valves, so we'll have fresh oil in it. Spark plug lead has to come off. So we need to remove the valve cover vent hose next. On the back. So we're going to undo these bolts here that hold the valve cover on next. I'm not really sure, we may have to take off this this engine mount here, but we'll see how we go. Alright, so we've got no room to pull that up because of these throttle cables, so we'll take those off. Alright, so you've got to take that cover off there so you can pull these cables out. Just get them out of the way. So we'll probably just zip tie them up there somewhere. And we'll try and get this cover off again. We may still need to take this bracket out, but alright, so we're taking off the goddamn top engine mount brackets. Fucking should have got a 500. Alright, so the engine mount is off. Now we'll see if the fucking cover comes off. Looking a bit better. Not much. So it's a twin cam, obviously. Unlike the 500, which is a single overhead cam. So pretty sure the next step we need to do is get the engine at top dead center. So what we do with this one is chuck the transmission into 6th gear. Yep. Alright, so we're in 6th gear. Alright, so to find top dead center, you turn the engine until, I don't know if you can see, but on the inside of those cams there, there's two little holes. You've got one flat side on each cam, and they both have to have the flat sides up. Alright, so the intake valves, which are at the rear of the engine, need to be between 0.1 and 0.15 millimeters. So we're going to start with a 0.1 feeler gauge, 0.1 millimeter feeler gauge. So that 0.1 there is going in there loose as a goose, so that's good. Means it's not too tight. I'll check the other side first. So your other intake valve is this guy here. That one just dragging a little bit, but it's still pretty loose. Now I'll go up to the 0.13. But you see what I'm doing here, don't you? Mm-hmm. Basically. So that guy might go in. So 0.13 will not go in. 0.13 is loose on that side. They're both in spec, the intake, so we'll do the exhaust ones now, and they have to be between 0.13 and 0.18. Alright, so again you start with your smallest clearance that you can have, going from this side on that one. So we want between 13 and 18, and we're starting with a 13, and that's nice and loose, yeah?
It's a little catchy.
But you don't have to force it in. Alright,
No.
Try that one on the other side. Okay, so the 13s are both quite loose. Trying the 0.15s.
No, doesn't like it. It's too big.
Yeah. No, that's still fine. You'll know when it's tight. It won't go in. We'll go up to the 18. It should be tight. That's dragging there. I'd say that'd be right on 18. That's tight now. That 18. So it just goes in enough to get caught.
Okay.
But it won't slide in. So you're probably looking at about 16 or 17 on that side. So, all in spec. Very good, we don't have to adjust the valves.
Now let's put this bitch back together.
So we'll just also make sure that all these gasket mating surfaces are nice and clean. No crap on there, so that it seals up nice. Alright, covers back on, we'll just put the bolts back in now. Alright guys, so we hooked up the accelerator cables back on, we've got the spark plug wire back on, we've got these engine mount brackets back on, we've got the crankcase breather hose back on, we've got the bolts back on, she's all ready. Again now for the fuel tank to go on and the seat, so we'll just throw the fuel tank on and start her up and make sure there's no oil leaks or anything around here. So yeah, just want to make sure when you're putting the tank on that you don't bind up your accelerator cables anywhere. Alright, so the tank's all back on, we've hooked up the wiring harness, hooked up the fuel. What we're going to do now is start her up, just check for any oil leaks, and the oil will flush out any of the crap that may have dropped into the engine, drop it down into the sump hopefully, and then we'll change the oil, and should be alright to whack the seat back on, and she should be ready to go. Fire it up. Alright guys, the mighty 350 is all back together, and no leaks. Beautiful. So we're just going to change the oil now as per normal, and should be ready to go again whenever that knee is ready. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch us next time.
Bye.
Fuel line.
Holy
Come on, you
shit.
cunt. Fucking thing. Who the shits with this stuff, eh? Like, how are you supposed to get anything in there?